Hello! Today we are doing another world tour. Our Let's Play is on a world that started long before I started recording, so I have been going through and explaining better the different parts of our world. This tour is all about the Jungle Island. This island was originally a mushroom island actually, then it was turned into the jungle that we see today. There are three main parts to this base. There's the Junglewood area, there's the mob spawner, and then finally there's our trophy building that has all of the hostile mobs that we've collected thus far. The design precedent for this island was roughly based around the TV show Lost. So in that TV series, there's people were trapped on an island, and so they formed sort of a primitive wood base on that island. Later in the show, there was pre-existing inexplicable industrial buildings, so that's where the brick fits in. I was even going to bring polar bears onto the island, and that's where the hostile mob collection concept came from. We still might bring polar bears. Thus far, the only passive mobs we've brought are a couple of sheep and then sea turtles. So we'll start the tour at the jungle portion of this base, and we usually get to this island via nether portal, so that's where we'll start the tour. So there are actually two portals on top of each other's. This is so that we can have mobs go into the one below, and then we'll take the one above, and I'll explain that more in a little bit. But basically, you can see them right as you exit the portal and look down. And then if you look straight ahead, there's door. I often like to put doors in front of portal rooms because of pigmen that inevitably spawn. So this keeps them somewhat contained in their area. So you exit, and the first thing on your left is the water elevator within a tree, and that can be used to get up from the ground level. And then this storage area, this is actually a major storage area of our world. Then down the hall a bit, we have a room for potions. Then down the hall a bit, we have another room for smelting. It's nothing too crazy. Basically, there's a lever and a switch, and if it's on, we can swap between XP or just having the items sort straight to this chest. Over here, we have a mob farm, and then straight across is an enchanting area that I actually don't really use, but it's there if we need it. All in all, this is a portion of our world that gets used a lot. So coming back through here across from the storage is the bed area. I just like to keep it nice and centrally located. Very convenient. And then back through here is the supercharging creeper room. So we've seen this in the first Let's Play episode, and I believe a couple of times since as well. And this is the room that has brought all of our mob heads into our world that we have. So when we want those heads, we can drop the supercharged creeper into this obsidian area, and right now this is filled with tracks, but that's just from when we moved the witch. This is temporary and needs to be taken out at some point. So basically this will work the same as the Wither Skull farm. We just drop both the mobs that we want, the creeper and the mob that we want the head from, and then we let the supercharged creeper explode, and then we get the head. And then the other thing in this room is the lower nether portal. So this was shown earlier. This is where the mobs that go through the bottom end up. It has this built-in track, and this will go all the way over to the collection facility area. And then this track is intentionally covered. And I learned the hard way that some mobs burn up along the way, so it needs the roof. And I said learn. I guess what I really mean is I relearn this lesson often, as I often forget. So down here we have the base of the water tree elevator shown earlier, and then we have a bit of a space carved out back here as well. I say carved out, but this mountain is actually completely artificial. Mushroom islands are usually quite flat. And so basically back here we have some deep storage for a lot of stuff that we just don't want in our main storage area. And then over here is a second lower nether portal. So basically we can disable one or the other and then have mobs go through whichever one we want. So why would we want this one? This one is for mobs that cannot fit into a minecart. So if you think back to the skeleton jockey that we tried to bring before learning that you can't bring skeleton jockeys through nether portals, we would have brought that one through this one because that guy would not have fit into a minecart. And so this just provides an extra option to bring mobs into our world. The next major thing on this world is the mob farm. So this mob farm works great because we are on a mushroom island. So all of the caves below the footprint of the island are already, quote unquote lit up. in the sense that hostile mobs cannot spawn. And so this hosts great rates, and it does so fairly easily. So this platform is located over the ocean, and so that's why hostile mobs can spawn on it. So when I spawn the raid to collect the raid mobs, it often spawns on this platform because it can't spawn on the island. I think the island has just a couple of blocks that are technically ocean blocks sort of scattered around. So we would randomly get a couple of waves that would spawn elsewhere, but most of the time they would spawn onto this platform. And so that is how we conveniently took mobs from the raid and into our collection. So you can see the dispensers up here. Basically all of this is it's an off switch for the mob farm. Also, I did it because I thought it would look cool to have lava fall that far. The next thing I'll mention is this farm is how we get mobs into the supercharging creeper station. So we can push a button and send them up this pipe over here. And so that's how we get both creepers and other mobs, the other mobs, of course, for their heads, over to the station. All right, that's basically this whole area. Oh yeah, there is a humble iron golem farm over here for just a little bit of iron. Although, actually, while I was doing the raid shenanigans, they actually killed one villager, so it's not operational right now. I haven't really been hurting for iron on this world, so I haven't been motivated to start it back up. So, all of this brings us to the other large brick building we have on the island, and this large brick building, this is the facility where we have our mob collection. Thus far, we have filled it out quite a bit, actually. We have raid mobs. We have supercharged creepers in this alcove area. The magma block and this guy. The Evoker Ravager. I would say he was the second hardest to get thus far. So he has an attack that kills the Ravager or hurts him. So moving him long distances was very tricky as he self-destructs. We also got a lot of baby zombie pigmen. 4 of them picked up items and then ran into this cage. This was the most serendipitous thing that has happened on this world. A complete accident. Did not do anything. Literally, they picked up the items through their weird glitch, and so they don't despawn, and then coincidentally, they wandered into this cage. So I guess we'll keep them here. It's just destiny, I guess. Then we have the magma block, and then below him, we will put a slime block eventually as well. The other mounted Ravagers. And then I have just a couple empty cages left. Comment below what I should fill them with. After that, we'll have to go downstairs for everything. So I have one here and then one over here. And then this leaves the ghast. And I would say that this has been the hardest one to get thus far. If we lived in a Soul Sand Valley, this would hardly have been an issue at all. But we live in the Nether Wastes, and so it was very tricky. And then also, if I had brought him here first, instead of trying to squeeze him into an area that was already built, that would have made things much easier. So we have 2 basements, and then over here is the Trident Drowned area. So we have a couple up top just guarding the entrance, and then we have the rest of them here below. So we have a pressure plate on the ground, and when we walk over that, dispensers will fire, and then that will release water. And then within this room, we have 360 degrees of Trident Drowns. Alright, so that leaves the other basement area. And so this is where we recently produced the Evoker sheep display. So these guys can change the color of sheep, little known fact. And so we wanted to show that off. And so that is why we have this display set up here. And then the Vindicators next to him, if you name them Johnny, annihilate any mob that they see. So they will take care of the sheep, and that will keep things ready for whenever we want to drop the next sheep to show off the color changes. Okay, so that does it for this island. It's been a fun island, and I would say the mob collection has been really fun because I've been able to do that one with you guys. And it's not done yet. We still have plenty of mob collecting to do, and also plenty of other odd contraptions to build around our world. So thank you guys, and see you in the next one.